Hey everyone, this is Uthris. Welcome to Let's Play Banished. This will be episode 1, I suppose. So Banished is a city building game. It was made by one guy, and he kind of formed the company Shining Rock Software. And back when this came out, I was like super excited for it. Um, and I played it a whole bunch. The problem is the first version, it didn't have mod support or a really in-depth building system. I mean, like, once you got to a certain point, it was basically just rinse, repeat, the same kind of process to expand your town pretty much limitlessly. And that became a little stale for me, so I stopped playing for a while. And then when mod support came out, I kind of hopped back in and played. And then eventually another update came out and it ended up breaking my game, and I haven't played it in probably half a year. So I went ahead and just downloaded just 2 mods so far. I downloaded Colonial Charter, which basically is almost an overhaul of the game. It adds many structures and many professions. And then Flux Capacitor, which basically makes your aging 1 to 1 year. Because originally it was like, I think 1 year was almost 3 years for your citizens, so you never really knew how long they were going to live because of that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let's see here, town name. I like building kind of port town, so we'll just go with a stereotypical one. We'll just call it Freeport. Hit the random generate key a whole bunch for fun. And I've never seen these before. Let's see. Lake Waters. I think Lake Waters would look cool since we're going for a port town, and then also a very large map just to see how big that is. I've never seen it. Climate. Very harsh, why not? Disasters on. And I was looking at these for a little while. Adam and Eve, start with 2 people. And with Flux Capacitor, it just takes forever to get anywhere. So I'm just going to stick it on hard, I think. And that way, I don't start out with too much stuff, and I actually have to work a little bit. Because it still kind of follows the same formula as the original, even with these mods. You don't even have to really use any of the modded structures to make it successful. You can just go ahead and just play it as normal and probably do fine. So let's see, custom loading screen. And it seems like, I don't know, some king has told us to make a colony, and that's what we're going to do. Hopefully, without failing. So let's see how long this load screen takes. I mean, it is a very large map, so it might take a little longer than normal. The nice thing about this game, I always found it was very well optimized. There wasn't any real frame rate issues. The graphics, I mean, like, it's a city building game, so the graphics aren't totally amazing. But I mean, one guy made this. He made all the coding, all the art, all the music. The music, what we're going to be hearing is Colonial Charter's music, but the bass music is still really good. I mean, like, it's just amazing what he was able to accomplish by himself. The UI was always a little funky for some people, but I'm okay with it. So I'm just going to bring up the UI and kind of set it up as I normally would here. Let's see, I need... There has to be something else. Ah, this. Okay. So, we got 17 people. Let's see what kind of names we got. Tavante, Blaken, pretty standard. Diana, Zelia, Kyler. Some of these are decent names. You'll occasionally get a good name, and it's always funny when their profession involves their name. And funny things happen if they like get crushed by a rock or something. So as you can see, with Colonial Charter, there is a scroll wheel now with the professions, and there's just so many of them. So many new houses down here, a lot of more road options, a lot more storage options, especially when it comes to the market stalls. So you have your kind of standard old market stall, and then kind of a city one, and then you can have individual little market stalls, which I like because market stalls, they centralize your economy, and what happens is if you're not ready to build one, it can brew a little bit of trouble for things. It's a resource depot. Huh. Okay. That's cool. Town services, about the same. A lot more food options. Ooh, a bakery. That'll be cool. So we're just going to start pretty normal. So these guys are homeless. You can see their needs over here, their immediate needs. It doesn't really tell you if you need more food. If you just start starving to death if you haven't figured that out. And I don't really like the starting little stream thing. So I think I'm going to come up here to the large river that we have and find a good spot to build and move everyone as early as possible over here. And I'm thinking this area would be best, and so we'll kind of start forming a town here, put a fishing dock, and get started. So let's see, I need to make a stockpile here to kind of, so they don't run back and forth too much, because they're going to have to run back down to this cart to get food and stuff until we build a storehouse, which is generally one of the first structures I build. That way I can get rid of this little cart down there as quickly as possible. And then we'll just go ahead and start removing resources, find out pretty much exactly what we need for this. Because I am playing on hard, so we have to do this, get this up and running fairly quick. So we need a bunch of lumber, as expected, and also some stone. If you try and get too many resources at once, the AI can generally get a little confused. I normally play on about 5 times normal speed. It's generally the best, in my opinion. And then also, we're going to need some huts eventually. I mean, it's early spring, so the snow should go away, and they won't need firewood here soon, which would be nice. But I did put very harsh climate, so it might end up backfiring. We could end up with some early deaths by doing this big move at the beginning. But I think it's a good risk to take. Come on, my minions. Gather all the resources. Get this stuff done. I really like the weather in the sense that it there's winter versions and normal versions of everything. So you'll get, you know, snow covering roofs automatically when it snows, snow covering the ground. If it didn't have that, the game would feel like it had a lot less character. You know, obviously it's break time, because everyone says fuck gathering and they're gonna go get some food. They just form a solid line. Let's see how many tools we got. Tools are important because, I mean, it increases how quick your citizens do their jobs, and so an early blacksmith can help a lot with productivity and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and bump up 2 builders here, and then throw in a starter house, I think. And each house has different skins, and if you keep placing them, they'll kind of naturally rotate, so the building variety stays a little fresh, which is good. I think we're gonna need more lumber. People are starting to get cold. Major problem, I think. And that's a wipe. Sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start this again. That's awesome. A big move at the beginning was not a good idea, I guess. Okay, so 1 second, and we'll try this again. Okay, so this is, you know, the same kind of setup as before. I'm changing the terrain type back to the valleys because I think it's most interesting. I didn't like how flat that last one was, and I'm just showing we're using the same setup here. So I'll be right back after the loading screen, and we'll try again at this. Okay, so it looks like we have a bit of a smaller population this time, which is fine. So I'm gonna try and do this a little bit different. I'm gonna build some houses first. That way people don't just wipe out like that. This cart really just messes with 100% of the central planning that I like to do. So thinking this kind of setup, we're gonna have a new storage barn. We'll get rid of this cart at some point, and for now we're just gonna have to tell them to clear kind of everything in an area. That way we get a nice supply of most resources. And we'll boost it back up to ×10 speed, and off they go. You know, it is definitely more efficient to have everyone work near their homes and supplies. We probably would have been fine last time if they didn't have to take that food break and walk so far away. I mean, the barn would have been built, and we would have gotten a house up, which I think everyone could have used to get heat back. So, you know, you really need to have a good balance of living near where you work, but also working far enough away so that you actually have like a city. So that's a hard thing to do in this game. When you start like building farms and things, they just start taking up so much room. It's hard to keep your city fed and things like that. So we have a house this time now, which is wonderful. And as you can see, everyone went to the same house. They didn't freeze, which is great. What's the temperature? It's pretty harsh for spring. I mean, it's 36 degrees. Let's see. So from here, we need to start expanding a little bit. We need to get our fruit production going and a little bit more of a steady lumber source. So we're going to get a gatherer's hut. Gatherer's hut are super efficient at getting food and things like that, but they almost always require to be in a wooded area, because without it, the herbs and things that they need won't spawn. And so to rectify this, usually I build a woodcutter's hut in the same location with a forester's hut. And so this way, these kind of all feed off each other and work very well. Where's my foresters, people? There's like too many jobs. It's a tree. Duh. And you can put a hunting lodge here too, because deer and things like the wooded areas more, and it can help with that. You need a stockpile pretty much to hold your firewood and lumber that you collect. And then I also will build a house or so near this area. I think I'm gonna move things around. I'm gonna start getting like a little OCD about my building placement. So that'll be a nice spot for everything. And then I just got to keep telling people to remove resources so we have a constant supply of building materials. So how are we on firewood? Really low on firewood, really low on lumber, getting low on food. So I'm going to pause all these other structures so they don't waste materials on anything but that gathering hut. Once the foundation is done, the builder is the only thing working on it, so I don't have to pause that structure. But hopefully they'll try and get that going soon, because we need a gatherer pretty much ASAP. Okay, so there's a special tool to increase priority, and I'm going to try and do this as many times as I can, so the laborers will realize, hey, we need to move resources here. I'm going to bump up the builder count by 2, just so things get done. 3 builders can work on this structure at once, so you can see how quickly it goes up. And then I'm going to put as many people into this gathering hut as possible. Actually, we'll just do 3. I think 3 is fine. We'll unpause the Forester's Lodge, because that'll be an important asset. So these homes are missing firewood, which is bad, but once we get the Forester's Hut and the Woodcutter's Hut going, we'll be okay, I think. 2 people are freezing, 1 person. For now, they're using other people's homes for heat. So, and since it's close by, they won't freeze to death by any means. Let's see how we're doing on food production. We're doing okay. Our food is going up just a little bit. It was down to 300. And so for this series, it's going to be different than Medieval Engineers. I'm probably going to have to do probably an hour's worth of gameplay, followed by a good bit of fast forwarding or jump skips, since this game can kind of go very slow initially. We're not going to tell the forester to cut down the trees that he's planting. We just want to get a nice, good amount of trees replanted as quickly as possible. So our firewood is really low, but we have someone working on that. We don't have any more homeless people, which is good, which means I don't have to build this yet. I can save my resources a little bit more. We're still okay on tools. Still not the best. An important structure that also goes well with the Gatherer's Hut is the Herbalist, because they need a wooded area as well. I might put that up north a little bit. Actually, no, this area won't have many trees anyways because of housing and stuff. So why would I take away more forest area? So I'll just put the Herbalist there. Figure out if they need anything. No. So we can just build that. So you can start seeing the trees popping up here. And then these deer would be awesome for clothes, food, and everything. We are actually lower on food than I thought. We're going to get a lot of these updates. But once the forest comes back, that'll help a lot. This Gatherer's Hut gives almost the most food in the game if done correctly. And sadly, we just already harvested everything in the area. And I don't think adding another gatherer would increase the efficiency that much. Because I'm not seeing too many herbs lying around. Well, there's a few. They'll come back. I'm gonna get... Actually, no, those are herbs. They're not the roots and things that we need. So we need to go ahead and get our herbalist, one herbalist going. Get rid of one of our builders. We are out of wood for that and for buildings in general, so we're just gonna cut down a section of forest over here. And when a person's out of materials and things like that to harvest, they'll actually do other jobs that the laborer would do, which is really nice. It can help a lot in the total scheme of things. Roads increases how quickly your people will move. So it's good to place some down, for sure. So that way they can kind of go in between that area very efficiently. Our food's kind of staying flat. I want to keep a really good eye on that. And yeah, I think that's kind of the introduction to Banished, as far as I can tell right now. This mod, I mean, it has so many new things to do and build and trying to manage. I mean, there's a glassworks factory. I mean, that's awesome. But at a certain point, your population becomes so big that you need almost exponentially more food. And it becomes really hard to make professions, and that's kind of the challenge you have to overcome in Banished. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy the new series. It's going to be every other day I'm going to upload Banished, and then every other day I'm going to upload Medieval Engineers. And if you guys don't enjoy Banished, then I can start just going back to Medieval Engineers until we find something else. And yeah, that's about all the news that I have for today. There will be one Medieval Engineers episode today. We're going to work on that finished. What is it? The castle that's going to be like partially destroyed and things. So yeah, thanks for watching.